Please check video resolution, which is not optimal. Okay. Please check the video resolution. How do I change said resolution then? Because that's supposed to be, I mean, that's my whole screen, so. How does one do that then? Video. Oh, okay. Okay. Because what is optimal for you then? Where's my analytics screen the most important thing I'm getting here? Right, bear with me. I'm going to go and get my start streaming. See how that do. Start streaming software. Should be doing something. Okay. Yes. I'm not receiving any data from my encoder. You really should be. Oh. Oh yeah, my bad. So that's needs to now be in. No, I need to stop that. So apparently I can do it like that. See, you deal with that. I'll deal with this. So it should be receiving data now. She should be getting from me all over here. Makes all your dreams come true. Got a tip for you. Oh my word. Right, okay. I'm really hoping this works. No, why has an error occurred? Right, so why can you not see me? Okay, which is not optimal. What is optimal then? I don't honestly care about the analytics. I just want to see if people can hear me and see me. So I don't care about any of that. Sure. Error code. Playback ID. Chat. Why are you not getting any of this? I mean, is this not linked? I have no idea how any of that works. I just draw stuff. How do computers work? Let's see. Okay. It'd be good to just get this working, to be honest, in this stream, if Yorick doesn't end up watching. I don't know if anyone's here. Okay, so yes, troubleshoot video streaming issues. An error has occurred. Playback error. Tap to retry. Internet connection or device connection. You may be able to play your videos again. YouTube videos again by following the steps for the internet device. Okay. What one exactly am I getting? Why would you take me away from that live stream to do that? Oh, it's working. Hello. Okay. So, let me just see, because I'm getting a little bit of delay here, so I don't know how this is working, if it is. Right, okay, cool, lovely. Right. I am just going to share this with a few people. In that case, because we are now working, bear with me, lovely people. The only downside is that I can't see comments while I'm doing this. So I want to see if I can get comments on my phone so that I can respond to people while this is all working. So let's just see if that works. Let's see if notifications, maybe? Do I get notifications of live stream stuff? I may just have to keep checking back, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. That's what we'll do. I'll just keep checking back. So let's make sure that this is all working. Hello, whoever you are. I think this is Yorick. I have a serious delay in terms of seeing you there and actually using this. I wonder if I can minimize this a little bit and then I can see comments that you leave as well. That would be great. Why don't we do that? Oh yes, look, I can. Right, okay, cool. Let's do that. So, and in OBS, all I need to do there, therefore, is do... Sorry for how weird this is going to look. I will move... Yeah, no, that's not what I'm trying to click on. Thank you. There we go. I'm trying to move me. I'll move me over here, let's say. Actually, no. We'll pop me up there. And then I can see what you're doing. And that should be great. Okay, lovely. So, if you can hear me, just say hi. Otherwise, I'm going to be drawing some elves here. I think I'm going to share this link with some other folks. Just to test that this is working, because you would not believe the difficulties I've been having with OBS. I really wanted to make this something that I can draw with you guys, whether I'm teaching you like how to draw and things like that, or if I'm just getting on with my own projects, and you guys can chat with me during this live stream. But honestly, I am the least computer literate person. So I just need to check that this is actually working. So if you do leave a comment in the little chat box, which should be available to you, that would be really handy. Just so I know that this is actually working and people are actually able to see this. So 1 second. So let's see. Let's copy that link there. Right, let's see. There we go. Send a message to the group. See if they can get a copy of that, and hopefully that'll work. Anyway. Let's get some drawing done. So, assuming that people can actually see this, what I'm drawing here is going to be only about 3 or 4 seconds worth of a video that I'm working on for the first in my series on my kind of species deep dive, which I've been desperate to do. I've had a lot of people asking to see things like tieflings and more playable species alongside Monster Mondays. And because there's so much more to talk about with like the playable species, like how you might want to roleplay them as players, how to kind of world build them into your world as a DM, and stuff like that. I really wanted to spend a lot of time going into a deep dive, really, something more than just a Monster Monday where I talk about something for about 15 minutes and I do one drawing. I planned on this being a kind of labor of love. A lot of my kind of older Friday videos are a bit more like that, and I really kind of miss that. So I'm planning on peppering this with a lot of drawings to illustrate almost all of the points that I want to make in those videos. And one of those points is just how many types of elf there are, because my first in this kind of species deep dive that I'd like to talk about will be focused on elves. So here I'll be talking about sort of like the base species, and then we've got all these other ones that you can see here. I've got the, if I go back down to the start here, we've got the, so we've got sort of half elves, we've got high elves, wood elves, and the drow, and then I plan to talk about them in increments, so having things like sun elves and moon elves turn up, talk about sea elves, the Lithari turn up in there, wild elves, and the Avariel, whose drawing I was particularly proud of. I really liked this little group here. I think that's, I don't want to brag, but I think that's pretty cool. So today on this live stream, if anyone is watching, I would like to carry on with that because there's loads more elves that I want to cram into this drawing to kind of emphasize just how mad Wizards of the Coast went with inventing little subspecies of elves. And the next one of those is actually one of my all-time favorites, which has not been included entirely in 5th edition, which are star elves or mithril elves, mostly because I'm a big fan of the colour purple. They're kind of like lavender eyes and bright purple and blue, kind of, well, my logo colours, really. And on top of that, they're also kind of psychic. Innately, they have some sort of divination magics inherently built into them. So I plan on drawing one of those today if I can. But if you'd prefer to have some lessons in how to draw, just because I know that's quite well requested, make sure to just leave that in the comment section. Again, just pop that in the chat. Can I switch this to like new chat, live chat, all messages? Is that right? Either way, one person's on. Let's see. Again, I'm just trying to figure this all out, so I'm sorry if this is a bit of a ramble. Okay. Right. So I'm going to Unfortunately, I cut my finger earlier on today, and that's making drawing really difficult. So, how do I get started with adding yet more elves to this already very, very elf-filled drawing? Well, thinking about my layers here, I want to pop my next elf somewhere here. They're not going to occupy very much space here, but I plan on using these drawings separately later on. So I'm going to draw the whole elf no matter what, and just pop them inside there. But I'm going to create a new layer just behind my wild elf, and just in front of my moon elf, so I can pop them. I want to be just here as well, so I'm going to pop them just here. New layer. This is not where I usually work, by the way. I'm kind of like leaning forward to get onto this tablet, but let's call that star elf. Sketch, and I'm going to create a group as well for the star elves, because we're going to build up layers as I would with the Monster Monday, but just for this individual drawing. So let's do star elf. Got the star elves. Casting all kinds of magic. We'll go and choose a nice grey to make a kind of pencil shape. I'm going to use a Kyle Webster brush because they are unbelievably good. Good old Kyle Webster. Stick that to 5 pixels because we're drawing real small, and I'm going to stick my sensitivity on my brush, and then we can just get started. The lovely thing about Photoshop is I almost always get my proportions wrong to start off with. In a group shot, I find them really difficult, but you can always resize things in Photoshop, which is magic. Actually, you know what? I don't want this to be 5 pixels right now, not while I'm sketching. Let's stick that back to 10. So yeah, where am I? Where's my... There we go. Right, okay, you know what, let's get rid of everybody else. It's so noisy I can't really tell what's going on right now. So actually, do I want her side on? I might have her side on. Screw it. There you go. Right, I'm just going to draw her and then I'll resize the sketch to kind of fit the drawing a little bit better. I think I do. Okay. Am I looking shocked? Have a smiling elf in here because I think all my elves look quite grumpy so far. And this one, oh wow, she's got massive lips. That's not intended. Let's scale that down a bit. Let's go here. You ever played a star elf? I cannot resist. Something about psychic powers. I really, really love that. I think my ideal superpower, if I had one, would be telekinesis. I thought that for quite a while. I mean, obviously, animal communication would be very high up there because, you know, my love of dogs, but certainly telekinesis would be lovely. Although I think, to be perfectly honest, I'll just use it to move the remote because I am a lazy soul, especially when I get into like a drawing groove and I don't really want to move anywhere, but I also really like to have noise on in the background. So I'm terrible for just staying perfectly still and not really doing very much while I entertain myself while I'm kind of, you know, I tend to sit down and watch like a Bob Ross video or something like that while I'm drawing, but if Netflix just informs me like, oh, are you sure you're still watching? It would be nice to be able to shoot some mind magic across and not have to deal with clicking next. But my absolute love of superheroes, I think I would be all over using telekinesis. So, you know, these lovely lavender coloured elves have it made with having mind powers and natural lavender colouring. What pose do I want her in? I think like I kind of have in my head like that kind of aerial look where she's kind of like tossing her hair back, quite long hair. But I don't know if that's suitable. I think I'm trying to. It's going to take up a lot of the screen if I do that. So let's just do a basic kind of shape here. She is definitely going to be massive compared to the rest of my elves right now. So let's try and rein you in. I'm not used to talking while I'm actually drawing. It's quite interesting to keep my mind on it, because I get so focused when I'm drawing on just the drawing itself. Like my oh, what am I drawing? If you just joined us, right, hang on, I will show you. So I'm drawing an elf right now. I'm drawing a star elf. As I've been saying, I am a little bit obsessed with elves, as you well know, and I am drawing a large drawing, one that's only going to take place for about like 3 seconds in a species deep dive video that I'm working on, the first one in that series, because I've been desperate to do something more in depth than A Month Monday. And there's this one scene. I'm going to basically do like a lot of drawings throughout this series, and there's this one scene where I'm talking about how massively over the top Wizards of the Coast went in particular, like 3.5. If we're honest, 3.5 had a lot of weird stuff going on in it. But the addition of all the many hundreds of different kinds of elves, and I am planning to draw every kind of elf in this one scene that's probably going to, as I say, only be around for about 30 seconds. So I'm adding star elves to this existing list of ridiculousness. Let me pop all the elves in here. So this is what I've done so far, which features your high elves and wood elves and drow and half elves. We've got sea elves, we've got the Lythari, lycanthropic elves. We've got sun elves and moon elves. We've got the Avariel in the back, and we've got wild elves as well. And hopefully, by the end of this stream, or at least at some point, I'm going to have a star elf in here as well. So I thought I would do that while you're here. just kind of talk through my process as well while I'm drawing, because I don't know, I've chat some rubbish when I'm drawing. I'm really not. This is why I have to do my Monster Mondays, like record the Monster Monday after I've done my drawing, because if I was trying to focus on actually speaking while I'm drawing, I think it would just come out as such utter garbled nonsense. I do like elves quite badly. I'm a little obsessed. I do get the luxury in this series that I've been working on, at some point at least, drawing every single one of my old elf characters, which, as it turns out, there's a lot more than I even thought there were. And God, they're edgy, because it was all like peak player D&D, Josh, which is when I was a teenager. So God, they're edgy, including one who gets possessed by a demon, and he basically becomes like an angel of oh God, what was it? It was something. It was. I was playing with adults at the time, and I was still like a little teenager with a very, very edgy mindset, and I have no idea how hard they must have all been cringing during that character's lifespan. My word, I had fun. They maybe didn't. I think. What do I want for you? Do I want a nice kind of swirl here? I think I do. I think you deserve a swirl. Let's go for some very, very unrealistic elf hair that could not really fit on another species. Flows too well because elf reasons. Because elves are the superior D&D race. Don't let anyone tell you different. I don't think any of my players have played elves, now that I think about it. I suppose, yeah, everyone always does like one edgy character at least, and then they get used to the idea of the fact that everyone is going to be intensely edgy. Deep dive on gnomes. Yeah. You know what? I've actually come around to gnomes a little bit. Halfling still, maybe not. It's funny, like Warcraft has just has damaged the kind reputation of gnomes to me so hard, because they are just I know, they're always the that player of the Warcraft world, if that makes sense, the equivalent version, and no one likes that player in their games. Let's see who else we've got here. Let's see comparatively. We want Moon Elf, don't we? So are you about the same size as Moon Elf? Yeah, you're about proportional to Moon Elf. Right, okay, let's see where I'm going to stick you as well. Original elves, and the wild elf is in front of you there. So I think we want you... Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Almost none of this elf, as I've been saying, is going to be visible in this image, but I plan on reusing a lot of these images while I'm talking about their individual sub-parts. You're that player! Oh no. Why do you think you're that player? What do you do that makes you a that player? Because there's very specific rules about being that player. just so you know, your comment has been held for review. Not because you swore in that, but because you were incorrect in your hypothesis that gnomes are the blank. You added the word "the" in there by accident. I just thought YouTube would be able to sort that out for you. Now, Star Elves, I have no idea why Star Elves always have this thing, but all the illustrations I've seen of Star Elves always have this kind of like little orb here. I'm guessing a star. But I don't know if I can make that look good. Just a sphere hanging about seems a little bit weird. I might turn it into a kind of crown. I suppose maybe when I do more research on Star Elves, I might find out that is a really vital part of their personality and all this kind of rubbish. But we will see. We'll see. How do I want you geared? I don't have many heavy armoured elves in this, so let's do that. You can have some heavy, sort of like plate armour stuff. Let's do big sweeping recurves. I don't know if there is a professional term for it in actual art for people who went to proper art school, as opposed to people who learned how to draw by reading tons and tons of comics. But what I call a recurve is this kind of like satisfying curve when you have like one curve and then you cut into it with another curve. Yeah, like an inner ironstone, because they apparently why these are like MLG like the best kind of elves is they have lavender coloured eyes usually and kind of purplish hair and blue kind of colours to them, but also because they have innate psychic powers, which makes them the best. I'm always drawn to psychic kind of characters and psychic casters in any role-playing game or any kind of environment really, as much as I like my edgy katana wielding characters. Yeah, so they have some pretty cool powers, and they're a wonderful little color palette. I'm looking forward to making a nice color palette for them. So I am just going over my kind of grey lines here with some red ones, so I can differentiate kind of her base body and compare it to some armor that I'm placing over the top. And anything that's in red just tells me like this goes over the top of everything else. This is armor that you're planning on putting on. But yeah, I'll have to think of maybe like a cool way to do it seems sort of like an Ioun stone in all these drawings that I've seen, but it's massive. It's like a floating melon in front of the head. It looks really weird. But then, it's fantasy art, and they're elves, so I guess they can do kind of whatever they want. It doesn't have to look good to humans. But it is humans who's consuming D&D games, so meta. But yeah, to come back to your earlier point, gnomes are growing on me. Warcraft kind of tarnished their good reputation because they were just the kind of like, I like to take my fantasy quite seriously. I don't really like silly characters, if that makes sense. I've never liked the kind of ditzy, Phoebe from Friends kind of characters, or the kind of like hashtag wacky kind of people. But I like it when fantasy is taken quite seriously, because I'm lame like that. Not to say that I don't have any fun with this kind of stuff. Do you not bother with layers when you're doing clothing and armor additions? I probably should, if I'm honest. I probably should, but I never really seem to. I don't tend to do much rubbing out of stuff. I've always wondered if this is just like an ADHD trait of mine, because I can never be bothered to do something a second time. The idea of that infuriates me massively. So I'll just do a very kind of loose sketch until something looks probably much exactly how I wanted it to turn out. So yeah, I tend not to do layers. I should really. A more patient artist would, for sure. But I hate doing the same thing twice so much. I actually talk about that a little bit in my Monster Monday coming up, which is a winged creature, and spoilers. And I hate drawing wings, and I hate drawing tentacles on things, because it's having to do the same like little thin lines over and over again, rather than having something interesting to draw. To me, like something intricate like a face or armor or hands, like something that I don't know why those are more interesting to me. There's more stuff to do. I don't have to redraw the same shapes over and over again, so yeah. No, I get that. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's just pure impatience. Before we carry on, I'm a culprit of maybe doing an unrealistic boob region when it comes to, in particular, elves, because I tend to do like, even the male elves get quite skin tight stuff, but I really hate, when you get like boob armor that has like the individual boob, and then there's like essentially a dagger pointing inwards to someone's chest cavity. It seems like not like armor to me. That seems like a thing that will kill you. So yeah, I like, especially with armor, like it has to have like a kind of solid plate going over the chest. Like, why does so much fantasy art have that? Either way, maybe I missed a memo. I don't wear armor much as I would love to. I don't wear armor on a daily basis. It's about the same as that one. I need to remember that the hair's coming over the top of all this. Use players, I mean? Oh, are you talking about the gnome thing? Draw this. Even if you did, I don't think your first choice would be Bahama. Oh, use layers, yeah. I mean, I use layers for a lot of different stuff. I suppose I use less, really. I remember when my partner showed me how many layers she uses. She's a professional graphic designer, and I remember seeing how many layers she used in like any individual piece that she was drawing, and it's frankly staggering to me because I'm used to. I tell you what it is as well. I'm used to doing my art sort of analog, however you want to say it. Like I'm not used to drawing drawing on a computer yet. I mean, I've been doing this channel for a year, but this is really the first time that I've consistently been drawing on Photoshop as opposed to using paper exclusively. And I always learned to draw through sort of like comic book art. And so for me, it was you do a sketch, and then you use inks to refine that sketch. So you draw over the top of that, and then you rub out your kind of pencil lines, and then you color over the top of that, and that's just how I've always learned to do. So, you know, there wasn't, you know, I couldn't do layers to color in that way, to draw in that way. If I screwed up a sketch, I just had to kind of redraw something. So I'm just kind of used to doing that. And I kind of know what shapes I'm looking for. I have no idea what this armor looks like before I put it on the person, but I know roughly roughly where I want to put things. Sorry, that was my phone going. I have a terrible habit of looking at my phone the second I get a message. And then I never respond to that. That person is not going to get a response because I will forget immediately afterwards that I've looked at that message. This is all going to be scale mail, I think. So I'll leave a little note to myself saying scales here, essentially. You have another one of these sleeves here. What was I talking about? Was I talking about anything in particular? Oh yeah, layers. Yeah, so I'm just quite used to drawing like this, I guess. And if you're not, you know, it's good to be able to make mistakes for sure. But I think a combination of patience and what I'm just used to, I draw a lot of these little crotch flap things as well. I don't honestly know why. Why don't we make this a nice star if she's a star elf? Put one of these here. And then we can have this whole thing tapering like webbing. Maybe curving there because that's an elfy shape. And do I want to do? Is that going to cut in too much? Oh, you know what we'll do? We'll cut it in, and then we'll give her the kind of, or is that too schoolgirl? The whole like Wonder Woman style, like Greek or Roman. No, you know what? It is too schoolgirl. Let's not give her an armor skirt. That seems like a bad idea. Let's give her more elf stuff. See, this is me making decisions. I'll just like go over this and make it darker so I can still see what it is I want to make. There we go. Very repeated straw. Is she still doing the Bake Off? I can't honestly remember now, actually. Maybe I'll give you some little starry ear things. And then do we want? Yeah, I think I might give you like a little. Oh, screw it. We'll stick a little light here. We'll make it a little light, but we'll make it bright. There you go. Let's give you some cool leg armor. It needs to be the same on this side. And that's going to definitely cut into that. Yeah, it's not. I mean, I like it. It's very very maneuverable, and I think it would suit a lot of things. I think like it does go a bit schoolgirl sometimes, especially. I mean, it can look really cool. I saw a Wonder Woman design. Actually, there's been plenty of Wonder Woman designs that have kind of done it right, and gone for the whole Greco-Roman soldier armor, and it's just looked unbearably cool. But the moment that those little, flaps, whatever you call it, get too short, because they need to be real long to make it like this is obviously armor and not a skirt. The moment that they get too short, it just is upsetting. I remember seeing the Wonder Woman film, which was all right, and then seeing, was it Batman vs Superman or the Justice League one? I think it was Justice League, and I like for the first time in my life having like that kind of like, oh my goodness, how rude kind of thing, seeing all the Amazons wearing basically mini skirts, which like, dude, DC dropped the ball on that one, because they looked cool in the Wonder Woman movie. They had some cool armor, and they had the opportunity to make that not a thing about scantily clad women. They had a chance to make it about badass warriors. It's a shame. It's a missed opportunity. Do I like that? Where did I get this pic of you? Yeah, it's. I'm sorry for the plagiarism of your Facebook profile picture. Obviously, as we know, you're obviously an elf. You going for purple hair? Because this lady's going to have purple hair for sure. I think it would suit you. Let's go for purple hair. Suits everyone. I can't wait until I'm getting married this year, and I can't wait until after I'm married to me and my partner. Neither of us can wait to thoroughly screw up our hair after that. Like, just dyeing your hair is so much fun, and but I absolutely bleached it to oblivion. So I had to cut it all off. You like the perp? Yeah. It's good. It is good. I say go for it. But I'm looking forward to doing it again. Now my hair's kind of growing back. Let's go for a bit of that. I can't remember what I did here. I do sing to myself a lot. Not well, but I do sing to myself a lot when I'm drawing as well. So you guys are just going to have to put up with that, I'm afraid. You sponsored me on Patreon. You knew the risks. Right. She's missing some bum stuff. I don't know what I want to put here, but I will. She needs some glitter beard. You know what? I think like I'm growing out my beard right now because I really want to braid it. If I'm honest, I want some little like dwarven bits and some little like you know like in Fantasy Eye you always see these little like ringlets in people's beards. I want that. So I'm growing out my beard for that, and already my moustache, which is not very long, but it's as long as I've ever managed to be able to stand it, because that is getting in my mouth constantly, and is a real pain in my bum. So I cannot wait for that to be long enough that I can push it to either side. But putting glitter on top of that, I think, would actually make me pull my own face off. So as nice as a glitter beard looks, and it is majestic AF, I don't think I could really manage that without not having a face at all, which does really hamper a YouTube career, I'll be honest. Not being able to do any videos with my face in whatsoever. Thank you. I really want to try it. I found there's I always forget her name, which is really bad as a YouTuber. There is a really good YouTuber out there who does historical braids for warriors throughout history, and historical braids, that is what that is. And I want to grow out the hair on the top of my head for that, but also want to see if any of that works for my beard. I will try and find out what her name is. But she's good. Does cool videos. Right, what armor am I giving you? You need to have scale mail for sure. With an elf, you need to sort of like balance sleek as well as efficient. So I wonder if sort of like scale mail would actually just cover this nicely, or is it still too kind of scant? I think we can get away with it. Honestly, yeah, I feel like that could indeed happen, because credit where credit is due, you know. Oh, let's give her an eye piercing. Eye piercing. Oh God, no, eyebrow piercing. I don't have any of those. I know, you know. Actually, no. She's gonna have these nice long eyebrows, not like those ones. We're going to draw blue so I can tell that's what I actually want to put here. We're going to have the little side ones that I like so much, because elves need nice eyebrows. Yeah, and I'll also make a note to myself that this hair should come out front. And be on top of everything. I'll cover this nice little bit that I didn't quite know what to do with as well. So let's pop that just here, get a nice little wispy curl there. Yeah, I think that should look nice, and also give me some room to use some more warm colours to contrast the fact that she's mostly supposed to be wearing purples. I think we're good. With her. Let's see what we got. Does she fit in with everything else? Let's see. It's going to be quite hard to tell. I mean, she's about the right size. She might be a little big. She might be a tiny bit big. Even though she's jumping in the air. How big are you? Is your head about the right size? Yeah, your head's about the right size. There we go. Let's pop you. Oh, I haven't got my wild elf in because I need to be able to see a bit of you. Yeah, that'll look good. Right. Pop. Title. There you go. Right, okay. So next step in this drawing process is making a new layer, because I don't know any shortcuts yet. I should totally know shortcuts on YouTube, but that is the one gripe that my partner has, is that I never use shortcuts for anything. I should. So let's do star elf. So hard not to burst into Bowie every time I say star elf. Line work. But I'm working hard to resist, so I'm not just singing all the time. And we'll lower the opacity of this layer so I can see straight through it, because we don't want to be too distracted while we're doing our line work. I'm going to zoom right on in. Come Command Shift N. You say that like I'm going to remember. But I've been told the odd command, but I'm terrible at remembering it, to be honest. I suppose it's whatever makes you like efficient as an artist. What am I doing? You don't have weird, clumsy imperfections. You're an elf. Why am I drawing little lines on you? There we go. I like to give elves very creative eyebrows, and I think I'll give her a little sort of like an owl's peak and then droop that off to the side. I mean, obviously, as Connor mentioned, I'm drawing her, so this is just Connor's eyebrows. Wow, that's not the right shape for that lip. Goodness me. You have to pause to think what a shortcut is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you might as well have just opened it in the menu. You've been braiding your brows. Nice. Braided brows. Now that's something I've not put on here. Oh, you know, why am I growing my beard out when I could just braid my eyebrows? That's what I need to do. Oh, sweet. Okay. Lovely. This is me getting a notification saying that the stream is working, which is good, because by now I really hope it would. You're getting some anime as hell hair right now. Which is a fun thing to do with elves, to be perfectly honest. The conventional rules of hair don't apply to elves. They are exclusively hair metal. Lower the opacity a bit more of that one so I can see a bit more easily. There we go. Is that chin jutting a bit too far forward? Something about that face is not drawn right, and I don't know quite what. Not right now. Maybe it'll come out when I do the colouring. Is this a self-portrait? Funnily enough, in the comments a second ago, Connor was saying that this is a drawing of her. So, no, this is a drawing of Connor, obviously. No, I'm drawing a star elf right now. Objectively, the best kind of elves, because they have lavender hair and they have psychic powers, which are some of my very, very favourite things. And also, you know, elves. which are the best. Foolishly, I did not set a timer when I started doing this drawing either, which I should have done, because this stream is only supposed to last an hour, and I do tend to get in the zone when I'm drawing, and I have to set an alarm. This is how bad it is. I have to set an alarm during the day so that I get up to use the bathroom, because otherwise I will just draw straight through to the end of the day, and then my partner will arrive back home from work, and I'll have this sudden overwhelming urge to use the bathroom because I have just been hyper focusing. Yes, Sephiroth is exactly what I had in my head. Not when I was going to the bathroom. When I was making this character. Don't worry, Joe. I got you. I got you. As well, I wonder. I don't know if you managed to see my what's it called? My Bone Devil drawing recently, but you are the Rappeltech, as if there is another one, but you are the Rappeltech responsible for the fact that I can now do digital drawings again. So thank you very much for your lovely tablet. Without which I would be drawing 0 elves right now. I'm not even sitting on my chair anymore. I'm leaning so far forwards that I'm kneeling on the ground. It's funny the things that you notice about how you operate when you're being filmed. I've never drawn while live streaming before, but I noticed that I'm doing this very intensely. I don't know as well, when I was a kid, when I got super into the zone, I would always have my tongue would always stick out the right hand side of my mouth, and I don't know if I still do that or not, so you'll just have to let me know if I start doing that. Oh yeah, well, that's a good way to spend your time. How is the writing going? Ain't no me set me. The thing I need to figure out is how other YouTubers, get this little comment section visible without you guys having to see it. Actually, I think I know how I could do that. Never mind me, I've just figured this out. I'm new to using OBS as my streamy thingy. What's it? I'm new to streaming in general, so I'm figuring it out as I go along. But there's a good amount of time when I was setting this up that YouTube was just telling me, this doesn't work, you've done this terribly, because computers are 100% not my strong suit. Drawing is. If someone could just set up the platform and everything like that for me and just let me draw, I would just draw all day quite happily. But I don't know how to do any of this kind of stuff. Oh, did you? Oh, did you? That's very, very cool. Yeah. Second screens. That's an excessive amount of hair, which is right for an elf, really. Yeah, I'm liking that. I'm trying not to put in quite the level of detail that I would with, like, say, a Monster Monday, because I'm drawing, like, again, like I say, this drawing is going to pop up in a video for all of about 30 seconds maximum. So this is why I'm not really working on my line work too hard. I'm doing a lot of little sketchy lines. Not focusing too much on trying to get definite edges to everything. More refined than a sketch, but not so refined as to be a commercial illustration, we'll say. Not the scale at which you guys will see this in an actual video. Not to say that I'm unhappy with it, it's just, again, saving time. There we go. I love drawing armor. Absolutely love it. Especially all these little elfy patterns and things like that. Like, I'm playing Red Dead Redemption right now, and I can't help but get every piece of clothing that has that kind of baroque floral patterning to it. I absolutely love it. Something else that the States does really, really well. I'm a big fan of kind of cowboy country. Anything southern in the States, I'm a big fan of that whole, well, that kind of history. But also the kind of leathercraft and things that they've accomplished out there, and all this kind of like wonderful floral kind of baroque patterning that's put on a lot of stuff. Absolutely beautiful. If I had a choice of Game of Thrones houses, I think for that reason, the Tyrells having all that kind of floral armor definitely would be very, very high up there. Of course, everyone wants to be a Stark because it is associated with kind of not being a colossal word I can't say on a live stream, but not very nice person. But I think, you know, purely for aesthetics, Tyrells have it made. It's very much reminiscent of Deet from the new Netflix shots of Dark Crystal. Ah, see, I love Dark Crystal, but I've not seen the new trailer. Does it look good? Such nostalgia. I watch that film quite regularly, if I'm honest. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful. And that kind of generation where, not to do a kind of like, you know, entertainment was better in my day kind of thing, but, you know, that kids' entertainment was less safe in a kind of way that was entertaining for children, in that same way that like Roald Dahl stories had these kind of like edging on creepy, scary kind of stuff, and you know, there was death, and you know, things weren't kind of, you weren't spoon-fed, it wasn't kind of like babying you and things like that. You know, maybe going too far back, Grimm's fairy tales maybe went a little bit too far the other way, and had things that were traumatizing as opposed to you know, treating you like what you thought an adult was like. But Dark Crystal definitely in my childhood was that kind of, oh man, this is creepy and it's made for me, and you know, it felt very, very cool. You've only seen the stills, okay. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Big Dark Crystal fan. I find it very hard to marshal my thoughts when I'm drawing, so I'm sorry if none of this made any sense whatsoever. Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't know quite how to convey it. It's something about I don't know, like simulated not exactly danger, but thrill as a kid. That kind of, again, Roald Dahl's good for this, that kind of sense of, they'll make a word that sounds a bit like a swear word, and it's kind of, as a kid, it's like, oh, I'm being entrusted with the knowledge of this sort of swear word, but it's not really swearing. But it's still, you felt like you were being treated like an adult. You know what I mean? Entertainment made with what kids actually wanted in mind, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Can't quite articulate it, but I'm glad you understand what I mean. And I'm aware that I am definitely a stereotype there with, newsflash, 90s kid thinks his entertainment was better when he was a kid. Welcome to every BuzzFeed list in existence. I also think Grimm's had its place. Their tales with the warnings passed on through. Yeah, absolutely. For sure, and there's a huge tradition of that. I mean, living in Scotland, red caps. Again, I think that's the requested video as well. But red caps and selkies and all this kind of stuff is, don't talk to strange men who are jabbering to themselves. Don't wander too far from camp and go to the sea looking for a beautiful horse because it might drag you into the sea, that kind of thing. That cautionary tales are the root of fictional stories, I think, or at least it certainly feels that way. But it's also the stuff that really gripped me as a kid, and I think it did for almost everybody else. Otherwise, why would Goosebumps have been such a phenomenon and all this kind of stuff? Like, everyone likes a bit of danger. Bit of danger, bit of security. Nice little balance. No one wants to be put in real danger. But having that kind of feeling that you could handle it if you wanted to as a kid was a nice nice way to tap into that. I think the only writer that I am aware of, and I say this as someone who doesn't read an awful lot of books, but I do like stories. Neil Gaiman, I think, still manages to capture that for kids at the moment. That kind of grim sense of adventure and a little bit of scare thrown in. Yeah, exactly. Coraline is one of his, and that's a good example of things can still be hella creepy and directed at kids in a kind of healthy way. You don't have to have a bloodbath to appeal to children, but you also don't have to coddle them. Oh, that looks like a fingernail. We definitely don't want that. That looks like a massive fingernail. How do I want that to look? I want some more of this kind of like floral stuff. There we go. I wonder if you can hear the police sirens that are going on near me. I'm not sure if they're police sirens. Could be a ambulance or a fire thingy. God, I love sketching. Right, okay. So what time are we at? I've probably been drawing for an hour and a half now, and I should stop the stream. Yeah, man, what did I do? It's because I'm plagiarizing Connor's profile picture on Facebook right now. It's she sent the plagiarism police over. So I have to explain to them that I was drawing elves. Something that the police will definitely understand. They're big elf fans. Kind of robing going on here. Tying this breastplate on. 1 hour and 20 almost. Whoops. Alright. Okay. I will stop any second now. Uptime command did nothing as YouTube doesn't by default have a chatbot. Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of strange stuff going on with. They've just updated all of our Creator Studio stuff. So, for example, I can't. I liked putting translations and God, what's it called? Closed captions on my stuff, but I don't work from a script when I'm doing any of my videos. I work from like general prompts, so I can't put in, I can't type in everything that I've said. So I was using their closed captioning, but recently that has just gone away because they've updated all of our Creator Studio stuff, and they say it's a feature that's coming soon. That does mean in the meantime, unfortunately, unless I want to type out every word that I've said, which I really don't, because that is going to be hours and hours and hours more work. That means that unfortunately people who are deaf can't watch my videos right now, which is a bit of a shame. Don't know how many of my viewers are deaf, but they're not going to be pleased with not being able to, not having to miss out on like everyone's videos right now. It's nice enough to be able to edit the captions that it automatically comes up with to make them more accurate, and to include more details like, you know, this is the sound of X, Y, and Z sound effect that I'm putting into this spot. But you have to start with something, and the automatic captions are really good, or at least were. I don't know, maybe they're updating how they operate, and they'll be better when they come back. It might only be a temporary thing, but for now it's a bit of a pain for them. I suppose they will never hear about it, for sure. Right. Okay. I'm gonna just do this little bit of scale mail, and then I am gonna stop, because I need to stop and go to sleep like a normal human who's not obsessed with drawing elves. Sorry. Yeah, don't worry. I can't accept an apology on behalf of the deaf community, but I think they also probably have a sense of humour. Right, okay, I am stopping there. I will say a couple more things just before I head off. Firstly, thank you for joining me tonight. It's been lovely fun doing some drawing with you today. The little star elf is coming along nicely, so look forward to seeing her in my elf deep dive, which will be ready just whenever I'm done with all the like dozens of different drawings that I want to put into this thing. The other types of elves that I have put in here, I will say this when the video is live and things like that, but there are all sorts of different kinds here, some of which have been created officially through Unearthed Arcana, some of which there is no intention to do so. Things like star elves, sun elves, and moon elves have been neatly bundled up into an umbrella term of high elves. The Lythari aren't in 5th edition either, and some other ones like that. But if you go on my website, which is thearcaneforge.com, I now have a little homebrew tab where I will be including like my versions of what these things do as I draw them. So a couple of those are up right now, including the Lythari, which seem pretty fun. So if you want to check any of those out, you're very, very welcome. Otherwise, again, thank you so much for helping me do this stream, and for helping me sort of like figure out how it all works a bit. And until next time, see you later, and thanks again.